What's up, everybody? Welcome to Own the Chaos. My name is Brad. That is Fat Man Zoom. The stock market is crazy and chaotic, and we've made it our mission to help you own it. Fat Man Zoom, what is our topic for today?
We need to talk about our top stocks for December. We crushed November. First of all, let me just say that we were 8 out of 10. We just missed the 9th. That was a little off. And then Zoom hammered us. No. So that's the one we had a big miss. But Zoom stays on. It's not on this watch list this week. But I think 8 out of 10 is pretty damn good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in September, I think we did 9 out of 10, right?
Yeah. So now we're going for December. We're locking in. We're going strong. Let's get a 10 out of 10.
Let's do it. So the top 10 stocks for December. I'm going to lead it off. My first one here is going to be Adobe. Adobe is just going to continue to roll here. For the better part of a decade, Adobe's been involved with and developing their cloud computing services. And it only has been until recently that it's really been blowing up, the cloud computing services sector. Well, why not just go with the best company out there that has to do with cloud computing? All of them definitely have their strong suits, but Adobe is the leader among them. And so if we go and just talk about this a little bit, I think that leading into this quarter, it's going to be really, really awesome leading to the end of the year because of some of the increases that we've seen in cases with the Rona. And, it's started to drop off a little bit, kind of similar to Zoom, but now starting to make a little bit of a resurgence because of that. And I think people are finally starting to realize that the new normal is going to consist of a lot of remote work. And this is where Adobe really comes into play. If we look at the chart, I think that 486 is right now is where it's trading at. I think that we see a move up, back up over $500 a share, even leading into 2021. If you want to hold on to this for a little bit longer, I think that there's definitely reason to do so. The most recent quarter, it spent about 17% of its revenue on research and development. One of its newer releases, the Adobe Lightroom, I think is going to be really pivotal for them and continue to move this stock up. So you want something that you can kind of set and forget, hold for even a month or two. But I think specifically for the month of December, we're going to see some fireworks out of Adobe.
Yeah, my number 2 is one stock that we haven't talked about a lot, but I'm bringing back Netflix. Ticker symbol NFLX. Here's why. So Netflix had a nice run up into their last earnings at the end of October. They did not perform well. Subsequently, the stock got hammered. Yep. And now it's floating around this $500 range. And I got my eye on it to see how it goes, hoping this is established a support. Here's why I like it through the end of the year. You think about just the macro factors, simply the weather. We're getting into wintertime. People are going to be locked in their house. There are new lockdown restrictions coming, but businesses are staying home. That bodes well for Netflix. And I think we start hearing towards the end of the month the new content that's going to start filming. So we're not going to get new content out, but when you start filming, buy the rumor, sell the news, I think you're going to start hearing the news about that. You want to be in the stock when that happens. They got hurt because the new subscriber count was low. So a lot of their metrics were hammered. I don't think that this is the end of the line for Netflix. I think they're going through a bit of a rough patch, but I still think this company is best in class. Disney's giving them a run for their money, but I'm still sticking with Netflix if you're talking about a streaming service, especially when the new content comes out. I like it. I like that 500 support. Keep an eye on that.
Yeah, right now it's sitting right at 499.62. So if we can get a sustained break up above 500, I like that a lot. One thing you didn't mention that I think that is really also pivotal as well is just their AI in general. The way that they've been able to cherry pick stuff that they think that you'll be interested in watching. We're seeing shows that are years old that are now becoming #1 trending on Netflix just because of the way that they've been able to rework their algorithms. So I love that pick. I think it's a really good one. My next one here for me is going to be Salesforce. Now, Salesforce just came out with earnings just a couple of days ago, and people really weren't impressed with the fact that they are acquiring Slack. And I think that's a mistake. When we looked at, I'm just going to use this analogy with Callaway. When Callaway acquired the rest of Topgolf, everybody was like, it's too overvalued. They spent too much money on this thing. It's never going to work out. And then, people are starting to realize, well, wait a minute. Topgolf is going to be huge. It's one of the best social distancing activities that you can do. And people are just really starting to pick up golf in general. And so I think that was just an amazing acquisition for Callaway. I think the same thing for Salesforce. When we look at Salesforce and this acquisition, 90% of Salesforce clients already use Slack, which is another reason why it's a perfect marriage for them. The other one is that this is going to be the way of the future, I think, especially when it comes to remote working. It's going to be the way that people communicate via within their job. This could be something that actually eliminates, the need for email. A lot of people are trying to say, though, that perhaps Microsoft and can move in this space because they're direct competitors, especially when it comes to Slack's abilities. But Slack has a different spin on it. And, with the shop CEO came out and was so bullish on this thing and created a whole video as to why he just loves Slack for their community. And it's just, there's a whole different approach that it has when you compare it to Teams. And that's what kind of where their a competitive advantage lies. Salesforce has so many other good things going for them as well. I know you probably have a few things to say about Salesforce too.
Vaccine distribution. Nobody's talking about it.
Yep.
They're going to be a huge player in the vaccine distribution. I know it feels like this company is a cloud company and they probably get hurt, not because of the fact that they're going to be distributing vaccines. And if you don't believe me, go to work.com, visit that website and see what you think.
Yeah, this has been beaten down because of earnings, and I think, in my opinion, this is the perfect opportunity to grab some. Fat Man Zoom and I have already grabbed some. I ended up averaging down on this one as well, down to 215 from my initial entry up in the 240s. I think this goes right back up over 250 and beyond this month. So we like Salesforce a lot. What you got next for me?
All right, so next we have Alibaba. So Baba's an interesting one because it got hammered along with the other foreign stocks, specifically Chinese stocks, due to the act that was passed in the House. So if you haven't heard by now, which you should have, it's the Holding Foreign Companies Accountable Act. It was passed in the House, was already passed in the Senate. It's been passed along to the president, who we expect to sign off on it. So this is done through. It got hit because of that, but I think the worst is behind us. Baba's a great company. As far as the act's concerned, if you don't know about it, it's just it's basically that foreign companies have to be held to the same standard as American companies, which means that they have to submit their audits to the SEC, and they have to be audited by an independent firm, which actually SEC has their own. It's like the PBAOC or so, PCAOB or whatever. It's the accountability. It's the Accounting Oversight Committee, and basically, it's an independent party that says that your financials are on the up and up. It was created because of Enron. So Chinese companies aren't abiding by that, especially the ones with ties to governments. Yep. And there's other foreign companies that don't abide by that. They get audited, but they get audited by companies that the SEC hasn't approved. Yep. So that's the issue here. However, Baba's not going anywhere. Baba's already abiding by the rules. There's going to be no issues with this. They're not in danger of being delisted. And any Chinese companies you're thinking about, it's a 3-year process anyways. So they'll have time to get their act together. So if you're thinking about those companies, if you feel confident in it, I think it's a bounce back for all of them. But Baba's looking good where it's at. We had a nice run on it before in the Chaos Crew. I think we see another nice run on it towards the end of the year.
Yeah, if this by some chance comes back down to 260, 261, I think this is going to be a really good dip grab opportunity. It's really not that far off from it right now, sitting at 266.70. So, I mean, I agree. And the other thing of it is, too, is that e-commerce really hasn't gotten a move on in this holiday season just yet. And so I think it's only a matter of time before we start to see the blow up with all of e-commerce. Amazon comes to mind too. That's gotten beaten down as well. So Alibaba should be something that should be on your watch list. And we think that this makes a really strong move in December. My next one is going to be, we've got into some pretty higher price stocks. So we wanted to have something that was a little bit lower priced with some really good opportunity. And that's Palantir. Palantir is going to be one that I think has a really good chance of making a move again in December. Now it's already made some really strong moves. We called this a buy when it was under $10 a share. It tripled since then. Well, JP Morgan came in and said, not so fast. We're going to have to downgrade this. Doesn't make sense as far as fundamentals are concerned. But one thing that we have learned is that investors don't necessarily care about the fundamentals that are going on right now. They want to see what's going on in the future. Well, Palantir has 50% of their revenue comes from the government themselves, plus the private sector. They're continuing to grow very solidly. And this company's been around for decades. Only recently did they decide to go public. And I think that with this downgrade, it's offered a really good opportunity to perhaps grab a dip. It's held very well up above $20 a share. If by some chance you get an opportunity to get down in the low 20s, I think that's going to be a really good opportunity for Palantir for at least maybe about a 10 to 20% move in the month of December.
All right, so the next one I have, number 6, we're gonna go Delta. So really, this is any airline you like.
Yeah.
We love Southwest. If you watch the video, top stocks under $25, we put in Spirit Airlines, which we really like. So if you want to know about Spirit Airlines, go watch that video. And by the way, that's above $25 now since the video. But I'm going to put Delta in here because of this. Delta, its international exposure has kept it further down. We've always said this is a two-horse race in the airlines. It's Southwest Airlines and it's Delta Airlines.
Yep.
Southwest is almost 10% back, or sorry, it's about 10% off of its year to date. Whereas when you look at Delta, it's still about 30% off its highs this year. So there's a lot of room to run. Again, you're going to see this common theme. Everybody who's waiting for the news, don't wait. Get the stock now. When the news comes back about airlines or just in general the vaccinations and we're going to begin the process, it's too late.
Yep.
So I think it's a good time to get into Delta. It's a great company. They're not going anywhere. And I think you have substantial upside on this thing, but when it moves, it's going to move quickly. So that's why I like Delta. It's a great company. But any airline you want, go for it. I think it'll do well.
I do too. And we've already started to see airliners actually looking to buy up more Boeing MAX 37. So make sure that you also keep Boeing. And we have our low-key stunner, Spirit as well. That's also been killing it over the last couple of days too. Like Delta, we love Delta's break-even load factor as well as Southwest. Those are our top two for us. For me, next up is going to be Facebook. Now, Google has been going off the rails right now. It's been flying high. We loved Google down in the $1,500 range. It's now up over $1,800 a share, and that was just about a month ago that we were kind of pounding our fists on the table, telling people that this is a solid buy. Facebook is now going to be in that conversation because it hasn't quite moved as much as Google has or as Alphabet has because of a lot of the scrutiny with Congress. And we kind of said this during the election season. It was under the microscope. Well, I think that's going to start to be. We're going to start to see that alleviated somewhat. And with Facebook, the big thing with them is that they help out small business. It is by far the cheapest place to get your company, your business advertised on through Facebook. And they reach millions of small businesses. I believe the number was around 8 million small businesses. This is the best time of the year for small businesses as they're trying to sell their goods and services for the holiday season. And it hasn't made the move. I think that right now, with it sitting at 280, 281, it's going to be a really good opportunity to get this. We said it was still a buy down in the 260s. If you still missed that opportunity, I'm looking at a chart here that says that 280 is a pretty solid support for it. And as long as it holds there, I think it's going to continue to be a buy. I see Facebook moving up over $300 per share by the end of the year, probably even more than that.
Yeah, and if you want, I'll say an outside stock because we've benefited off of Snap. That was a huge move. We're up over 100% based on where we called that one out.
Yeah.
I think Twitter's a little bit of a sleeper too. That was out of grace, and I think now it's time to look at it again. It's in a nice upward trend. So number 8, I have MGM. Man, we were talking about MGM back in the day.
$12 a share. MGM.
Yeah, and so MGM has made a move, but the move's not over. Same as the airlines. It's the same situation. The move's not over. Here's why we loved MGM, and we're back bringing up MGM, pounding the drum on this one. So MGM, as far as the financial setup is concerned, fundamentally, they're in the best position of any of the casinos. So when you look at the balance sheet, you look at their cash on hand, they're in the best position to sustain this. No worries there. What I particularly like the moves they've been making. They've been really smart financially about managing their income statement, managing their P&L. Just recently, you actually heard that they divested a piece of their stake in MGM Properties. And so that got them basically $700 million onto their books. Helps with cash flow, a perfect time. And I think they're actually going to use that money to be active in their betting app, which leads me to my next point. I don't know why, I don't think anybody's really mentioning it, but their online gaming launched in Pennsylvania. That's not their sports betting, and their sports betting actually hasn't launched either. They have a partnership with the Steelers, so they're looking to expose that. That looks really good. We've talked about Michigan. So between Pennsylvania and Michigan, their BetMGM app, I think that's a good hedge. So we're still huge fans of Penn, strictly online gaming, but from the casino sector, this gives you some exposure into both, and they should benefit off of that. And as we reopen again, there's still a resort, there's still a hotel, casino. They're going to benefit off that as well. And I think they're at good levels. They've made a nice run, but this run ain't over, Brad.
Not at all. And if by some chance you happen to see this under $30 a share, it is hands down a buy for me. I think we're at a really pivotal moment here for MGM. If this breaks up above $31 a share, we should start to see this run back up to those highs that we saw before the crash, and that'll be around $35, $36 a share. So I think that this is going to be a really good mover. We love ourselves some Penn, but MGM has its own benefits, especially with it having one of the best balance sheets in the industry. And we love this one a lot. We can't say enough good things about MGM either. For me, before I get to the next one here, I just wanted to remind everybody to join in on the Chaos Crew. We're running down a list of top 10 stocks for the month, but we give you a top stocks every single day if you're part of the Chaos Crew. If you want to join, make sure you're hitting that join button next to subscribe. If you can't find it there, there's also a link in the description. And it's so much more than that. We give you trader tips, investor tips, as well as all kinds of other private live streams. Actually, in fact, as we're recording, our Chaos Crew folks are watching this live behind the scenes. So if you guys want to be a part of that, be a part of something bigger, plus have access to our public Webull portfolio, make sure you're hitting that join button. And we're also doing a special giveaway. Is that right, Fat Man Zoom?
We're giving away a share of Tesla. So for you all who missed the boat on that, we're going to give you a share of Tesla. So when we hit 1,000, as long as you're a part of the crew, we're going to raffle it off, and one lucky Chaos Crew member will get a share of Tesla.
That's right. All right, so moving on to the next one here is going to be Square. Now, Square has already made monster moves this year. Let's not take away from the fact that it's gone up considerably, 400-500% since the crash, but it's not done yet. And a lot of this has to do with its involvement with Bitcoin. And that's really what's kind of brought this up over the $200 level from its $30 level at the bottom of the market here. So Square also has plenty of other things going on with them. They're working on their POS system and how that works with smaller businesses. That's kind of been their bread and butter. But as they're working themselves into other things, as well as Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, they're directly invested in Bitcoin. And the higher that this goes, the more value it brings to Square in general. So you have that side of things, plus the POS side. I think that Square is going to continue to roll here. There are plenty of analysts arguing the fact that Square could see $300 a share. Right now, it's holding so well up above this $200 level. And for our Chaos Crew members, they know that I've been scaling into this thing right at $200. Every time it wants to come down there and retest that support, that's where I've been adding. And I think that we see monster moves out of Square for December as well because of the holiday season. Again, we're going back to small businesses and how this is the best time of the year for them. It's the highest grossing volume for most small businesses this time of year. And Square stands to benefit. The more transactions that are being done through Square, the more Square benefits. So I think that we're going to see some really strong moves out of Square leading into the holiday season and into the end of the year. We could see another 225 move out of Square, which would be amazing for the stock.
And anybody who's wondering how this plays when we reopen, I think that Square and PayPal are exceptions to the rules. I think they are in for a huge 2021.
Yep.
And watch out for Square as they even add more things. I'm excited because I think in 2021 they launch a credit card service to add to everything, which will be great because that's just easy, high margin income.
Yeah,
all right.
Absolutely.
Number 10. This might be cheating, but my number 10 is Tesla. It's got to be Tesla. This can't be on the list. Tesla goes into the S&P 500 in December, so it has to be on the top 10.
Yeah.
It goes in December 21st, and I'm going to say some things that are probably people probably aren't going to be happy with me about, but I'm just going to speak my mind. I'm going to speak my truth. I mentioned when it first happened that we could have a healthy pullback. I'm waiting for a healthy pullback. I think we saw that. I think the 540, I think that's the one we saw.
Yeah.
Tesla's not immune to another one, but I actually think we're kind of in the safe zone until then. I do think that we go sideways until the 21st, or at least the lead up. I think we've established a nice little range. I don't necessarily see us getting back to 440, but I can see us getting between that like 575 to 615 range. And I know everybody expects us to move up before. I've been wondering, like, do we move down after the 21st? Just because of the nature of the situation, I don't think we do. Normally, I think we do for Tesla.
Yeah.
This one, I think we do see a steady run up. It might be a little bit choppy, but I think there's going to be a move up, and I think there's going to be a massive move up. But what I'm saying is that the week before, so the 21st is a Monday, when we look at historical, most of these entries, you're looking at the Thursday or the Wednesday before that is when you really start seeing the stock pick up for about a month. And so I would say the play is, if you're not in it, that Monday, look at an entry, and look Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for an entry. I think you're going to get an opportunity, and I think it's going to be a steady climb up. But again, Tesla does have ways, like crazy crew that follows it, that allows it to push up and push down.
Yep.
So just keep an eye on this, but overall you should be fine. I think 600 will be a support that once it passes it, once it clears it, it probably won't come back. But it's got a million vehicles that I believe they're going to announce they're going to deliver for 2021. I don't think this is a sell. I think this is a dollar cost average when it goes down.
Yep.
There will be a big sell-off, I'm sure, months down the road. But here's the thing. We always say this is a buy opportunity. Like, if you want to try to trade it, great. But dollar cost average this thing. If you're not in it, you'll get opportunities to dollar cost average. They're going to hit 500,000 vehicles this year, and I expect December to be a great year for them. It's going to be a bigger move. It's basically when it's going to happen. So we don't know that. We're trying to use our best guess. We all love Tesla. You should love Tesla too, especially if you win it in the Chaos Crew. But I think that we see through December actually a nice steady run for Tesla.
I think so too. And I mean, you got to also consider this massive move up, and the indexers have yet to have bought into this thing, which they're going to buy up a huge chunk of the float. So also take that in consideration as well. But, you know, it has been consolidating up here close to the $600 range. It seems to have been acting as a resistance. We saw one spike up above $600 earlier this week, and it has really struggled to get back up over that. So this area consolidation could just mean that we're seeing a little bit of a churn before the next move up. So definitely agree with you there. And there is the top 10 stocks to buy in December. If you guys like this, we certainly would appreciate a thumbs up. If this is your first time seeing a video like this, we certainly would appreciate a subscribe and hit that notification bell, because we go live 3 times a week as well, on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sunday nights. We'd love to have you guys a part of the community. Make sure you're hitting that join button next to subscribe as well. And that is going to do it for me. Anything else from you, Fat Man Zoom?
Yeah, just make sure you're clicking your notifications. We'll be live this Sunday. It's going to be a good Sunday. We nailed last week's top 5. So Stock Watch Sunday this Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. See you there.
That's going to do it for us. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.